This is how I prep my coffee, so I always have hot, iced, regular, and decaf coffee available for me whenever I want it. It's taken me a few years to figure out this system properly and get to where I want to go, but this is a pretty minimalist system. It doesn't require a coffee maker or anything like that. As you can see, I live in a very small studio apartment, so I didn't want anything taking up counter space, so it doesn't require anything like that. It just takes a little bit of upfront work to prep it, but then once you have that set up, then you're good for the next week or two in regards to regular decaf, hot, and iced coffee. So to start, you will need a system to cold brew coffee. And I know cold brew sounds like it's for iced coffee or cold brew, but this method you can use, the cold brew refers to the brewing method. So it's as opposed to using hot water, you're going to use cold water and let it sit in the coffee grounds for a longer period of time, and that's how it's going to brew. It's going to brew cold rather than hot. But we can then later use that cold brew coffee to make hot coffee or iced coffee. So the system I use is the Toddy cold brew system. It's this nice bucket thing that all comes together. It works great. I've been using this for almost 2 years, and I'm not going to go super in depth on how to cold brew using the Toddy because it's fairly simple. I already made a video on how to do this, which I'll link so you guys can check that out if you're interested, but just follow the directions on how to cold brew using the Toddy. You will also need, well, the Toddy comes with this, which is what you will store your cold brewed coffee in. So you'll need that. And in addition, you'll need another container or pitcher. I have this, which works great. You'll need something where the Toddy can fit on top of it. So you'll kind of figure that out as you use it. This pitcher works great. I like that they're different, so I can easily tell that this is regular coffee and this is decaf. So I'll link to this pitcher too, and also link to the Toddy system so you guys can grab that if you'd like. You will also need regular coffee and decaf coffee, because we're going to brew both, so they're always available whenever you need. So the first step is to use your Toddy's cold brew system to cold brew a regular batch of coffee and a decaf batch of coffee. Once you have that and follow the instructions in the other video, you will end up with a canister full of regular coffee concentrate and a canister full of decaf regular coffee concentrate. And so just to explain how these work a bit, this is concentrate. So I mix a ratio of about 1/3 to 1/4 coffee to the rest water. So it allows me to use hot water or cold water to make hot or iced coffee. And once you have these brewed, they will last for up to 2 weeks in the fridge. So that's a nice long time. You don't have to worry about your coffee going bad. Just keep both of these stored in the fridge and you'll be ready to make your coffee whenever you want. So now I'm going to show you how to make iced coffee using the cold brew that you just brewed up. So start with your glass, take your coffee. Now you can use either decaf or regular coffee, whatever you're in the mood for, if it's the afternoon or the morning. I'm going to use regular right now. And pour in approximately 1/3 to 1/4 of the container as cold brew. Kind of depends on your taste, if you want a stronger or weaker coffee. I tend to go towards less just because then I can drink more of it, and it's just kind of my preference. And I always like to lick that because it's mine. So as you can see, I just filled it up about that much because, again, this is concentrated coffee. If you drink this, it's almost like drinking a shot of espresso. It's extremely strong. Next, take your ice and get some ice cubes in here. Got our ice in there. Now we're gonna go fill up the rest just with purified water. So now you have your cold brew. This is ready to drink. I like to put a little half and half in mine just because that's who I am. Oh yeah. Mix it on up. And there you have iced coffee ready to go, and it took me maybe a minute, 2 minutes to make that. Next we're going to make some hot coffee, so I'll show you how to do that, and I will use decaf for this one. So start by getting some water hot. I like to boil it because what's great about this is Oftentimes coffee will be way too hot when you get it. I always think it is when you get it from a coffee shop. But this you put in, this is already cold. This is from the fridge. So you put in this, and I mix it with boiling water, and that creates the perfect temperature. It is just, right when you pour it this way, it's great to do. So start with boiling some water. I just use a kettle on the stove. Okay, so that's boiling behind me. While we wait for that to boil, I'm gonna use decaf again this time, like I said. And again, just pour in 1/4 to 1/3 of soy. You do like, I guess the way you say it is 1 part coffee, 3 parts water. So I'm gonna do 1 part coffee, 3 parts water. I think that's how you say it. But like 25% cold brew to 33% cold brew, and the rest is water. That makes sense, right? There you go. Yeah, you can experiment with it. It's nice because you can make stronger or weak coffee depending on what you like or what your guests like too, which is nice. So now we'll just wait for the water to boil. And we got our water boiling. By the way, this glass kettle is awesome. It's called a whistling kettle. And then just pour in your hot boiling water into your cold brewed coffee cup. And they mix together the hot and the cold to make a great temperature coffee. And there you are, now you have hot coffee. Took as long as it takes to boil water, and that's basically it. Whew, that's a little hot, this one, but it's good. You can drink it black. Sometimes I will, but most of the time I'll throw some half and half in there too. So there you go, that's how you make hot coffee. Well, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. Took me a while, like I said, to figure out this process and what worked best for me, but I've been doing this for basically 2 years since I got this toddy system, and it's been working great to always have decaf and regular hot and cold ready to go. It's really nice, and saves a lot of money too. Iced coffee can be very expensive when you start buying it, so it's great. And for me, I go through this regular jar, this full jar, in probably 7 to 9 days, and I drink a little less decaf, so this one generally lasts me about 2 weeks before I have to redo that. Well, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and hope you learned a lot about coffee making that may improve your coffee prep situation. So that's it. Goodbye.